Concrete is cement, aggregate, and sand. You can narrow it down to 1920s to 1970s cement.
For more than 2 centuries, Oak Island has guarded its secrets beneath layers of stone, seawater, and legend. But today, everything changes, because the History Channel has just confirmed a shocking new breakthrough. A secret chamber discovered by Emma Culligan, hidden deep beneath the island's oldest terrain. And what's inside this chamber may rewrite everything we thought we knew about the world's most mysterious treasure hunt. This isn't just another tunnel, another wooden structure, or another void beneath the money pit. No. According to early reports, this chamber holds anomalies unlike anything ever identified on the island, objects and formations that experts are calling historically impossible. Emma Culligan's discovery has already triggered a wave of global attention, with archaeologists, historians, and even government agencies demanding a closer look. But how was this chamber found? Why was its existence kept secret for so long? And what did Emma see the moment her flashlight cut through the darkness of that hidden room? Tonight, we uncover every detail, the discovery, the evidence, and the terrifying implications of what this chamber might contain. Because Oak Island's biggest mystery may have just been solved. Before we dive in, make sure to subscribe, because the discoveries coming next are even more unbelievable, and you won't want to miss a single one. For years, Oak Island has swallowed hopes, drained fortunes, and mocked every attempt to uncover its darkest secrets. Experts insisted that the deepest layers of the island were inaccessible, blocked by centuries of flooding tunnels, collapsed shafts, and geological traps deliberately engineered to keep treasure hunters out. But all of that changed the moment Emma Culligan stepped onto the site with a new experimental scanning device. What was supposed to be a routine GPS sweep turned into the most shocking moment in her career. The first strange signal appeared faintly, an echo buried nearly 70 feet beneath compacted soil and stone. It pulsed irregularly, defying the patterns normally produced by wood, metal, or natural voids. At first, the team assumed it was a malfunction. The reading spiked so violently that one operator actually recalibrated the machine twice, convinced that static interference was corrupting the data. But when Emma insisted they rescan the exact same coordinates, the anomaly sharpened. The signal wasn't noise. It was something large, hollow, and perfectly geometric. As the team closed in on the spot, the ground responded in a way no one had ever witnessed on Oak Island. A small vibration rippled beneath their boots, subtle at first, then unmistakable. Within minutes, the soil shifted, cracking open just enough to reveal a narrow seam in the earth. It was as if the island itself had been waiting for the right person, the right moment, to finally reveal the chamber below. Emma's flashlight beam cut into the darkness, illuminating a depth and structure that shouldn't have existed, an engineered space untouched by human eyes for centuries. This discovery wasn't supposed to happen. It defied expert opinion, historical data, and geological expectations. And yet, there it was, a hidden entrance that had outsmarted generations of treasure hunters until now. But this was only the beginning, because once the team realized this chamber was real, a far more disturbing question emerged, one that would lead directly into the next phase of the investigation. Why does its construction match no known civilization from Oak Island's timeline, yet appears far more advanced than anything the early settlers could have built? The moment Emma Culligan lowered herself into the newly exposed chamber, she realized something was terribly wrong, not because of what she found, but because of how it was built. The stonework forming the walls wasn't crude or improvised. It wasn't the work of colonial settlers, early explorers, or even the secretive builders theorized in pirate legends. Instead, the chamber displayed an architectural sophistication that belonged to a far older and far more advanced culture. Each stone block was flawlessly shaped, fitted so precisely that not even a blade of grass could slip between the seams. The angles were calculated with mathematical accuracy, forming a structure capable of withstanding centuries of pressure, flooding, and geological shifts. This was no accidental void. It was engineered, a deliberate construction buried deep beneath Oak Island's surface, long before any documented human presence. And yet the tools required to produce such craftsmanship didn't exist in Nova Scotia's recorded history. Historians who reviewed the initial footage were stunned. They couldn't identify the techniques used. They couldn't match the masonry style to any known civilization from North America, Europe, or even ancient seafaring cultures. The chamber's architecture was out of place, impossibly out of place, suggesting either an undocumented society with extraordinary abilities or a group whose presence on Oak Island was never meant to be known. Even more disturbing were the markings etched into the supporting pillars. They weren't runes, hieroglyphs, or Templar symbols. They formed a language or perhaps a numerical system unlike anything catalogued by archaeologists. The symbols seemed to follow patterns, mathematical sequences, or some form of encoded message. But without a cultural match, experts couldn't explain how such knowledge appeared on an island supposedly untouched by advanced civilizations. This contradiction, this impossibility, is what terrifies historians. If the chamber predates every known settlement, then Oak Island's mystery extends far beyond hidden treasure. It points to an entire chapter of human history that has been erased or perhaps deliberately concealed. And if the chamber itself raises questions, what Emma found inside takes the mystery into even more dangerous territory. What objects were discovered inside that the History Channel refuses to fully reveal, and why are experts calling them impossible for the era? When Emma Culligan first entered the ancient chamber, her attention was drawn not only to the impossible architecture, but to the objects resting silently at its center. These were not relics from the colonial era, not pirate-era loot, and certainly not the typical wooden fragments or rusted tools the Oak Island team usually finds. These artifacts were different, so different that the History Channel made an unprecedented decision. They refused to show them on camera. The first object recovered was a metallic plate, lightweight, cold, and unnaturally smooth. It wasn't gold, silver, or any metal familiar to the team. Under the flashlight, it gave off a faint bluish sheen, as if absorbing light rather than reflecting it. Emma noticed lines etched across the surface, precise tiny grooves aligned in a pattern that appeared mathematical, not decorative, not symbolic, engineered. What stunned the team even more was the second artifact, a crystalline object resembling a lens or focusing device. It was perfectly symmetrical, polished far beyond what ancient tools could achieve. When light passed through it, the beam sharpened into a razor-thin line, unlike anything natural stone or glass could produce. Early testing hinted at an optical capability centuries beyond the known technology of Oak Island's early visitors. The third object was the most controversial, a compact mechanism composed of interlocking components. Some described it as an ancient device. Others believed it was a tool. But a leaked internal report, circulating among producers and researchers, used a far more unsettling description. Technology far ahead of its time. This phrase alone was enough to trigger a storm of silence. Cameras were ordered off, footage was sealed, and every crew member present that day signed an immediate non-disclosure agreement. Whatever Emma found, it wasn't meant for the public, at least not yet. Behind the scenes, whispers spread quickly. Some claimed the mechanism resembled early navigation instruments, but far too advanced. Others believed it was part of something larger, a system once used by the unknown builders of the chamber. One historian reportedly insisted that the artifacts represented a technological leap so significant that it could rewrite human timelines. The biggest question remains: who created the objects? And more importantly, why were they hidden so deep beneath Oak Island, protected by traps and engineered chambers? The forbidden nature of these discoveries has fueled speculation across archaeological and scientific communities. And as the secrecy thickens, the island's mysteries only deepen. Because if such advanced artifacts exist, then someone or something wanted to keep them buried forever. And that leads to a chilling realization waiting in the next phase of this investigation. What deeper tunnel lies hidden beneath the chamber, and what triggered the unexplained movement detected below? As Emma Culligan and the team continued documenting the chamber's architecture and the forbidden artifacts within it, something else captured their attention, something far more unsettling than any relic or stone carving. At the far edge of the chamber, half buried beneath centuries of sediment, lay a narrow, perfectly carved passageway, sealed shut by a stone slab so precisely fitted that it appeared fused into the wall itself. This wasn't a collapse. It wasn't natural. Someone had deliberately sealed this tunnel, as if trying to keep something inside or prevent others from reaching whatever lay deeper below. The passageway sloped downward at a sharp angle, vanishing into total darkness. Its edges were smooth, almost polished, unlike the rough, hand-cut tunnels commonly found in old mines or treasure shafts. This was engineered with intention, purpose, and a level of skill long lost to history. Emma immediately recognized the danger. Opening this passage meant venturing into an unknown system beneath the island, one untouched by human hands for centuries, maybe longer. But the real shock came when the team brought in ground-penetrating radar to map the unseen depths. The device sent waves into the stone, creating a digital outline of the sealed tunnel. At first, everything looked normal: a descending corridor, more chambers, and what appeared to be a large cavern further below. But then the radar picked up something no one expected: a faint anomaly, a heat signature, a ripple, movement, not the kind caused by settling stone or groundwater. This was rhythmic, subtle, yet unmistakably real. The operator ran the scan 3 more times, each producing the same result. Something beneath the sealed passage was shifting, slowly, repeatedly, almost as if it was alive. Panic rippled through the crew. Historians refused to comment. Producers demanded silence, and Emma, standing before the sealed stone door, felt the weight of a terrifying question settle over her. Was the passageway sealed to hide treasure, or to imprison something else entirely? The deeper they scanned, the more alarming the readings became. A series of geometric structures appeared below, too perfect to be natural, too symmetrical. It was as if the chamber above was just the entrance hall to something far more elaborate, a network, a system, a design hidden beneath Oak Island long before modern history began. And if the unknown architects sealed that passageway, they must have had a reason powerful enough to hide the truth beneath layers of stone, earth, and secrecy that lasted centuries. Now, with the chamber exposed for the first time, that secret was stirring again. because if movement exists below, it means something down there is not dormant, not dead. Something is waiting. Why did officials appear within hours of the discovery? And what were they so desperate to remove from the site? In the hours following Emma Culligan's discovery of the sealed passageway and the startling radar movement beneath it, excitement surged through the Oak Island team. For a brief moment, it felt like they were standing on the edge of the island's greatest revelation. But that feeling didn't last. Before sunrise the next morning, the atmosphere shifted dramatically. Black SUVs rolled onto the island, unmarked, unannounced, and carrying people no one expected to see. The officials who stepped out weren't local authorities. They weren't archaeologists from Nova Scotia, nor representatives from the History Channel. They carried federal badges, agencies that had no declared jurisdiction on Oak Island, yet somehow knew exactly where to go. Their arrival was so fast, so precise, that it left the team wondering, who informed them? How did they know what Emma found? And more importantly, why were they here? Within minutes of arriving, the officials secured the site, escorting camera crews out of the chamber and forcing the production team to halt all recording. Even long-standing Oak Island researchers who had spent decades fighting for the right to excavate were pushed back behind security barriers. Emma herself was questioned, her equipment temporarily seized, and her notes copied without explanation. Then came the moment that changed everything. A high-ranking official, carrying a sealed briefcase, entered the chamber with two agents. According to crew members who caught a glimpse before being removed, the agents extracted a small metallic case from inside the chamber, something Emma had not documented, photographed, or even seen. It was hidden behind the sealed slab near the entrance of the deeper passageway. Within seconds, the object was locked inside the briefcase and carried off the island under armed escort. The History Channel later announced that technical issues had paused filming for the day, but everyone on the island knew that wasn't true. The government had taken something they clearly didn't want the public to see. Whispers spread among the team. Was the item a piece of the ancient mechanism? Proof of the advanced technology hinted at by the forbidden artifacts? Or perhaps evidence linking Oak Island to an undiscovered civilization? None of these questions were answered. Instead, the site was closed for 48 hours under what was described as an environmental safety evaluation, a vague excuse used far too often in situations where secrecy is more valuable than truth. Even more alarming, several of the original chamber scans were deleted from the central system without permission. Whatever was in that classified file, the government wanted it first. Emma, shaken but determined, knew one thing. If officials were trying this hard to bury the truth, the discovery was far more dangerous and far more important than anyone could have imagined. And the strange, sealed passage was only one part of the mystery. Because, etched into the wall of the chamber, nearly overlooked during the chaos, was something older, something carved by the original builders as a warning. What ancient inscription did experts translate, and why does it point to a far more terrifying secret hidden beneath Oak Island? Long after the officials had sealed off the site and removed the mysterious object hidden behind the stone slab, Emma Culligan returned to the chamber, determined to recover what little evidence remained untouched. The government might have taken control of the deeper passageway, but they hadn't erased the chamber itself. And it was there, carved into the oldest stones, that Emma discovered something far more disturbing than any artifact. At first, the markings on the far wall looked like the same geometric patterns etched into the pillars, strange symbols without cultural identity or historical context. But under the right lighting angle, Emma realized these weren't decorative or mathematical. They were a message, deeply engraved, deliberately placed, and unmistakably urgent. Not a code, not a map, a warning. She filmed every inch, carefully tracing the symbols before sending the footage to a panel of linguists and ancient language experts across multiple continents. Their responses came slowly, hesitantly, as if each scholar doubted their own interpretation. The symbols didn't belong to any known script, yet they followed a linguistic rhythm, a structure, a pattern resembling proto-languages older than any civilization ever associated with the Atlantic world. But one consensus emerged, an unsettling agreement among specialists who had no contact with one another. The symbols translated to one chilling phrase, "Do not open." Suddenly, everything aligned: the sealed passageway, the precise construction, the forbidden artifacts, the government's immediate confiscation. The chamber wasn't just hiding something important, it was protecting something dangerous. The warning suggested that the original builders, whoever they were, understood the consequences of opening the deeper passage. Not treasure hunters, not pirates, not modern historians. The message came from a group advanced enough to carve stone with impossible precision, build airtight passageways, and leave behind artifacts beyond their era. But that raised a terrifying question. What did they seal away? And why were they so desperate to make sure no one disturbed it? Emma felt the weight of the truth pressing against her. If the government retrieved something from the chamber before anyone else could identify it, then maybe they already knew, or suspected, what lay beneath. The radar movement, the unnatural geometry, the ancient warning. It all pointed toward a mystery far greater than treasure, something that challenged history itself. And if the chamber's message was accurate, then opening that deeper passage wasn't a discovery. It was a mistake. But Emma also knew the Oak Island team would not walk away. Not after coming so far. Not after uncovering evidence of knowledge lost to time. Because sometimes the truth is more powerful than the danger it brings.